Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Pete. What you just saw in that intro is the brand new billet reloading press from Bullet Corp. Now, I want you to know that it takes an awful lot to impress me. I've got a very high expectation for many things in life purely because I run my sort of own life in that way. So when I get a product or something in and it's not perfect, it kind of bothers me. When I opened this up, the first thing I did was looked at it, got on the phone and phoned the guys and congratulated them on what an incredible job they did with this press, just visually, like how it looks, how it's finished, how it was machined. They knocked it out the park. They did really well. Fits in nicely with the red theme that we've got going here today. So we've got the press over here. I'm going to sort of take you guys through a little run through, if you will, of the press. You might have also noticed things are looking a little bit different on this side of the room. Think it came out pretty slick. Full tour of the reloading space soon. So if you want to see sort of how to build literally the ultimate reloading room in the world, then make sure you're subscribed. Okay, so first things first, made here in South Africa. Now, this is a single stage press, okay? So you're going to be able to put your conventional dies right here in the top, and we all know how to install a die at this point. Literally your die is going to go in at the top there. We're going to finish setting that up just now. So that is super easy. What's also really cool is if you're loading like big boy calibers like 50 BMG, 37 Shy-Tac, those kind of things, 375 Shy-Tac, you can also do that and fit the bigger dies because the press can actually accommodate the bigger dies, which is really cool. Now, when you're loading for sort of ultimate precision long range shooting, the last thing you want in a reloading press is slop. Okay, now to show you guys an example, I've actually got my Reading Big Boss 2 press. Now, if I wiggle the sort of ram, you guys will see the incredible amount of slop that is in this press. The last thing you want is sort of any lateral movement as you're loading something to like 10,000ths of an inch. So you don't want any of that kind of movement. And I'll tell you what, this thing, the only thing that's moving is my desk. It's rock solid. Feels a lot like the 4190 with regards to actually moving the handle, and you can feel it is freaking dead nuts, which is awesome. So normal sort of single stage press like the Big Boss that we have over to the side there. Usually what happens is you've got this sort of linkage, okay, which is this bit that moves here. By the way, there's some primers in there because I have loaded quite a bit of ammo on this already. But with the linkage, the only thing that's moving up and down is this, basically the center column, okay, so the ram with your shell holder in. And that's where that slop, the side-to-side movement, causes havoc. Because if I show you again on there, as soon as I move that handle, and that's going to happen obviously when because you're not pushing it 100% straight down, right? Especially if you're applying force and stuff. As a result of that, because there's nothing really stabilizing that, your shell holder and everything's going to move, and that's going to cause variation in your ammo, which is obviously not good if we're shooting for, pun intended, consistency. Now here, the whole shell holder and everything are guided with these linear bearings, sort of like a Prezi press, if you will, Prezi press. I don't know how you mention it, some German press. It is like a really good press apparently. But they've got 3 columns, so here we have dual columns, and obviously you've got your middle one sort of serving as the third. And I'll tell you what, it feels freaking good. So what I did was I just wiped sort of all the lube that came with it, because it was a little bit stiff in the beginning, and stiff is not good in this case. Wiped a bit of the lube off, and then just took regular gun oil on a little lappy, and I coated everything with it. One thing I gotta say, The anodizing that they've done on this, like this red anodizing and the black and the stuff, it looks so quality. It looks really good. One thing to note, I kind of cocked up. I washed my hands the one day when I was working and I touched the handle, and then I actually pulled the press off because I needed to mount my priming system here. And then I came back a day later and I could literally see where I touched with my wet hands. Luckily it was soon, and we kind of know this with firearms, like if you have blued house and things like that, you always want to just take an oiled rag and wipe things down. So that's what I've done. Also with anodizing, it will sort of lose its pop, if you will, but just a little oil rag every now and again will brighten things up and you'll be for away with that. So let me finish screwing in this die and I'll show you guys how to replace the shell plate. Sort of a similar design to what they've done on the 4190, which is cool. I really like that system. It's rock solid. It's not quite as fast as the sort of click in, click out ones. The good news is if you've got the shell holders that click in and click out, they actually work on the system too. So this nut comes off the top. You literally pull this guy out and you will remove the shell holder. It kind of clicks in, but it's very subtle. So you click it out like that. I'm going to take my Magnum one. Actually, this is a 308 one. You must make sure that that second sort of shell plate does the little click. Otherwise, you're going to struggle to get it on your threads. And what's really cool here is instead of being limited on the reading, you kind of have to do everything with your left hand. This press is basically fully ambidextrous. Everything is in line with each other like this. So whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you're probably just going to decide where you're going to mount it on your bench. When you lock these shell plates down, you can just orientate them. So if I want to work with my right hand, take cases, I can slot them in. If I want to do that left-handed, I could just loosen it, turn it a little bit this way, lock it down again, and it's not going anywhere. So that is really cool. If you want to deprime, so I've got kind of a universal decapping die in here at the moment. Pop a case in there. Let me grab a case. Okay, so we got a 6-dasher case over here. We're going to pop that guy in, run her up, and there we go. Primer out. And then we've got a little pipe to catch the spent primers in. Now, that is the one thing I would have liked if they did a little bit differently. Everything from here on up looks so good, and then you've kind of got this hanging here. So usually what I did, and even did that on the reading because it worked the same way with like a little tube, I would take one of my empty sort of protein containers and just pop that down there and run a longer pipe. And then that sort of solves that problem, and you never have to worry about filling it up, especially if you're loading in sort of large volumes. I'm really proud to have a South African company making a quality product like this. It's really, really cool. I actually phoned Sculpt too from my partner in APW, and I was like, dude, this thing is awesome. Mounting wise, you've got quite a bit of body, a bit of width, if you will, some girth this way. Okay, to give you plenty of options if you're gonna go onto sort of your bench or stuff like that, so you're not gonna have any issues with the pipe crashing into your bench. I've obviously chosen to mount it on my sort of QD system because I can now move presses and things along swiftly without sort of clamping things to desks and things. I must say the ultimate setup, probably one thing if I did have this over, but no, I can't give you that information because I'll have to mention that in the video where we actually tour the ultimate setup, with one possible shortfall, maybe two. Anyway guys, that is the Billet reloading press from Bullet Corp, made here in South Africa. Let's talk about price, okay? Maybe a little bit of the elephant in the room here. It's 10,000 Rand, okay? So how much is that in dollars? I don't know what the exchange rate is at the moment. This is how much it is, okay? It's not cheap. Now, when I initially posted a photo of this on my Instagram, guys were doing some homework and they found out what it cost. And I read a comment where somebody said, it is expensive for something made in South Africa. Now, just because it's made here doesn't mean it's budget, right? You get what you pay for. If you buy a 5,000 Rand reloading press, like that Reading Big Boss 2 is, you're gonna have that slop. And if that's okay, you can deal with it. And there's ways to mitigate that. If you've got a press like that, I can show you guys how to get the most out of that system. You can make that work. But this is not a 5,000 Rand reloading press, okay? So you get what you pay for in that sense. It is a quality press. I'd be very happy to load match ammo, and in fact I have loaded match ammo with this guy, and I've been very happy with that. So just because something is made here doesn't mean it's made cheap like some of the other stuff that gets made here. So keep that in mind. It is very expensive to make things. The machines required to CNC stuff like this, and the machine time, it takes forever. So I think Bullet Corp did a phenomenal job with this press, and I'm excited to hear maybe some of you guys that have picked them up. If you're looking for a first reloading press, it is quite an investment to get a premium press like this. But again, buy once, cry once. You know, I've had that school of thought since day one. My first chassis I ever bought was an ESS, and I have not regretted that decision at all. So once again, MDT, thanks for making videos like this possible. How cool does this sort of MDT wall look behind me? I think it looks pretty badass. I'll roll in a shot of that. Guys, if you're new, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment, leave a like, thumbs up, all of the wonderful things that you need to do at the end of a video. God bless you. See you in the next one. Bye.